Have you ever grown weary of constantly having to prove yourself to others, of explaining every choice, every thought, every dream? How many times have you quietly asked yourself, if I simply stayed silent and focused on my own path, could everything eventually fall into place? In the rush and relentless noise of the modern world, it's all too easy to be swept away by the expectations and judgments of others. Yet the more we cling to external validation, the more we lose clarity within ourselves. Only in stillness can you truly hear your own voice. Stillness is not about escaping life, it's about making time to look deeply inward, to reflect and rediscover what really matters. The greatest strength does not lie in controlling the world, but in mastering yourself, being aware of your emotions, your thoughts, and what truly deserves your energy and devotion. Today, I invite you to explore with me the art of silence, the art of focusing on yourself through 10 lessons inspired by the philosophy of Stoicism. Stay with me until the very last lesson, because only when you reach the end will you truly hold the key to changing your life. 1. Don't waste energy explaining yourself. There's a quiet exhaustion that creeps in when you spend your life explaining yourself to others. You lay out your choices, your career, your relationships, your passion, hoping that someone else will understand, maybe even approve. Yet, too often, that approval never comes. In a world where social validation is dangled in front of us at every turn, where every decision can be commented on, liked, or dismissed, it's easy to feel like your worth is always on trial. You begin to wonder, is this energy I'm pouring out ever truly returned? Or am I just trading my peace for someone else's momentary interest? For so many, especially those facing the pressures of midlife career expectations, financial responsibilities, the silent demands of family and society, the desire to be understood, can turn into a trap. You try to justify why you changed your job, why you walked away from a certain path, or why you chose what felt right for you in the face of doubt and disbelief. But the hard truth is, most people are not walking your path, and they can never fully see the landscape of your experience. Their opinions are colored by their own fears, desires, and distractions. Your attempts at explanation often land on ears that are half listening at best. Tim Ferriss, best-selling author and advocate for mental health, once described a dark season in his life spent defending his dreams to everyone around him. He poured energy into convincing others that his unconventional path was worthwhile, only to be met with skepticism and worry. Eventually, he stopped explaining and started doing. The results spoke louder than any words could. He built a career on his terms, inspired millions, and found the peace that eluded him when he sought validation outside himself. This is where the wisdom of Stoicism cuts through the noise. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." In this single line, he captures the heart of the solution. Do not waste your life explaining, justifying, or defending your intentions. Simply live them. Take action quietly, persistently, with unwavering focus on what you can control: your choices, your discipline, your growth. When you redirect the energy you've spent explaining yourself into building yourself, you create a force that cannot be ignored. The world eventually takes notice, not because you demanded it, but because your results become undeniable. Silence paired with focused effort is not weakness, it's power. The less you explain, the more you become. The quieter you get, the clearer your path becomes, not for others, but for yourself. And that is where everything finally falls into place. 2. Success comes from actions, not words. Usain Bolt, the world's fastest man, once said, "I trained 4 years to run 9 seconds, and people give up when they don't see results in 2 months." There's a lesson in those words that cuts deeper than any motivational quote ever could. When the stadium lights blaze and the world watches him sprint to victory, few remember the early mornings, the silent hours, the sacrifices and setbacks. All the real work, the transformation, happens away from applause, far from cameras, in relentless, lonely repetition. Success is forged in quiet persistence, not in what we say, but in what we actually do. Yet, for so many of us, the opposite is true. We spend hours talking about our dreams, our plans, our one day. It's easy to announce an ambition or craft a vision board, but how often do those words become actions? In today's world, where validation comes with likes, shares, and instant feedback, there's a constant pull to talk about our intentions, to announce every small step. But this cycle can be a trap. The more energy we spend describing what we want to become, the less is left for actually becoming it. This dilemma is especially true for those facing the relentless pressures of adult life, the demands of work, family, finances, and the constant comparison with others. Many people, especially men in the prime years of their lives, find themselves exhausted not just by what they must do, but by the need to justify, explain, and perform for others. The noise is deafening inside and out. But when you turn down that noise, when you stop narrating your journey to the world and simply walk it, you unlock something extraordinary: the quiet power of consistent action. The solution lies in embracing a new mindset, one that values action over performance, doing over telling. Imagine waking up each day and committing to your goals, not because you promised anyone else, but because you owe it to yourself. Picture the discipline of an athlete, training not for the audience, but for the silent, private moments of growth. Real success comes when your actions begin to stack, day after day, until the results are impossible to ignore. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus wrote, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." These words are a call to live your values through your actions, not your words. To let your discipline and consistency speak so loudly that you no longer need to defend your choices or justify your dreams. In the end, it's not the loudest voice in the room that wins. It's the one who quietly, persistently shows up and does the work, especially when no one is watching. Success is not built on promises. It's built moment by moment in silence. And when you learn to value what you do more than what you say, you'll find that everything begins, quietly and surely, to fall into place. 3. Eliminate distractions, focus on yourself. Imagine your mind as a garden. What grows depends not just on the seeds you plant, but on how well you protect that space from weeds. Distractions, constant, subtle, persistent, are the weeds of modern life. They creep in quietly through your phone, the endless scroll of social media, the pings of notifications, and the subtle itch to compare your path to someone else's. Before you know it, what could have been a lush, flourishing space is overrun with chaos. leaving little room for your dreams to take root. The truth is, most people don't fail because they lack intelligence or ambition. They stumble because their attention is fractured. In his celebrated book Deep Work, Cal Newport describes how the ability to focus deeply and undisturbed is the key to any meaningful achievement in today's world. Newport's research reveals that those who consistently carve out time for deep, uninterrupted work are the ones who push boundaries, create lasting value, and find true satisfaction, not just fleeting success. Yet, this kind of focus is nearly impossible when you are constantly pulled in 100 directions by the outside world. Consider this. Have you ever spent an entire evening scrolling through your phone, only to realize hours have slipped away and you feel drained, not fulfilled? Have you noticed how quickly your motivation evaporates after a pointless argument online or after measuring your progress against someone else's highlight reel? These distractions are not harmless. They rob you of the one resource you can never regain: time. The solution is radical, but simple. You must reclaim control of your environment and your mind. Turn off the notifications. Set boundaries for social interactions that drain you more than they enrich. Replace aimless scrolling with deliberate practice or rest. One real-life story comes to mind. A student preparing for graduate school, overwhelmed by the endless noise of group chats and social media, finally made a choice. He silenced every app, set strict limits on socializing, and poured his energy into his studies. The result was not just higher grades, but a clarity and confidence that set him apart from his peers, still trapped in digital distractions. When you eliminate what's unnecessary, you create space for what's essential. This is not about shutting the world out, but about choosing every single day what deserves your focus. You stop scattering your energy across dozens of unimportant things and start investing it in yourself, your growth, your learning, your peace. Transformation doesn't happen when you react to every notification or try to win every argument. It happens in the silence, in the moments you claim for yourself. Step away from the noise and you'll notice. Your goals become sharper, your efforts more meaningful, and your progress unmistakable. And once you begin to focus, a new challenge appears. How do you fiercely protect this precious energy from being drained by people, obligations, and thoughts that don't serve you? That's the secret we'll unlock in Lesson 4, an insight you won't want to miss. 4. Protect your energy and focus. Have you ever wondered why, even when you give your all, exhaustion seems to catch up with you sometimes for no clear reason? How often do you feel your energy slipping away, not because of the work you do, but because of the constant demands for your attention from people, conversations, and opinions that, in the end, add little value to your life? In a world where noise is everywhere, where everyone seems to have something to say about how you should live, what you should think, and who you should become, it's all too easy to let your energy scatter in 100 different directions. But what if the real challenge is not working harder, but protecting your focus from the endless distractions around you? Not every conversation deserves your participation. Not every opinion merits your attention. The truth is, when you try to please everyone, listen to every voice, and respond to every call for your energy, you end up with nothing left for yourself. Your time is finite, and your energy is not infinite. Every moment you spend on what doesn't serve you is a moment stolen from your growth and your purpose. This is a lesson Terry Crews, the actor and former athlete, learned through bitter experience. For years, he felt the need to show up for everyone, to respond to every request, to participate in every conversation, to make himself available to every opinion, hoping that by doing so, he would find approval, connection, and peace. Instead, he found himself drained, burned out, and far from the life he actually wanted. It was only when he chose to be selective, deciding what truly deserved his energy and what he could gently let go of, that he regained control over his life. He recalls, "When I started choosing what I listened to and what I did, I took back control of my energy. That's when I became stronger than ever." So how do you protect your own energy and focus in this chaotic world? First, it takes awareness to recognize which people, conversations, and commitments genuinely add value to your life and which only drain you. Next, it requires the courage to set boundaries, to say no when needed, and to be unapologetic about making your well-being a priority. Most importantly, it means reminding yourself that your energy is yours alone. The more you guard it, the more you will have to pour into your passions, your goals, and the relationships that truly matter. Ask yourself, who or what has been taking more than they give in your life? Where are you spending energy that never comes back? It is not selfish to protect your focus. It is wise. The world may always be noisy, but your power lies in choosing where to listen and where to be silent. Share your thoughts in the comments. What boundaries have you set that changed your life? Where do you still struggle to protect your energy? Your story could be exactly what someone else needs to hear. 5. Results speak for themselves. Let's begin with a simple, real-world story. Scott had just joined a new team at work. Unlike many others who were eager to recount past glories or make bold promises about what they could achieve, Scott took a different approach. He didn't boast about his resume or try to impress his colleagues with words. Instead, he kept his head down, focused on the task at hand, and gave every project his full commitment. Day in and day out, he quietly delivered, making sure his actions aligned with his own standards rather than anyone else's expectations. After 6 months, without ever asking for recognition or demanding praise, Scott was promoted to a higher position. People noticed the results. Whispers of, "How did he do that?" began to circulate, not because Scott had proclaimed his abilities, but because his performance was undeniable. This story cuts straight to the heart of a truth often overlooked in our world. Results speak for themselves. In today's hyper-connected society, there's a constant pressure to broadcast achievements, to update everyone on our every move, to compete in a never-ending race for validation. Social media, workplace dynamics, and even casual conversations push us to justify our choices, explain our actions, and seek approval. For many, especially those who have felt the sting of being misunderstood or overlooked, this pressure can be exhausting. It's easy to believe that unless we shout about our progress, no one will see it. But the real value of what we do isn't in the stories we tell about our work. It's in the quiet, consistent excellence of the work itself. When you focus on yourself and stay silent, you create space for discipline and growth. This isn't about withdrawing from the world or refusing to communicate, but about redirecting your energy away from constant justification and into meaningful action. Silence, in this sense, is not emptiness, it's intention. It is the space where self-improvement happens away from the noise, free from the distractions of comparison and approval seeking. The process isn't always glamorous. There may be moments when it feels like no one is watching, when effort goes unnoticed, when doubts creep in. But progress made in silence is the most stable kind. It is built on foundations that do not crumble with opinion or praise. Over time, results begin to draw attention, sometimes slowly, sometimes all at once. People notice the difference in your output, your reliability, and your confidence. They begin to ask questions, to pay attention, to wonder about your process. By letting your work speak, you become someone whose achievements carry their own undeniable weight. In a world that is always talking, sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stay silent and let your results tell the story. The path may be quieter, but it leads to a recognition that is both authentic and lasting. When you trust the process and let your efforts compound, you discover the freedom of knowing that you never needed to prove yourself with words. Your work has always been enough. 6. You are the master of your reality. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to let the world shape your mood, your actions, your sense of self-worth? Every day, we're bombarded by opinions, comparisons, and judgments, some spoken, some hidden in glances or subtle words. The temptation to explain ourselves, to seek approval, to blame circumstances, can feel overwhelming. Yet, with every moment we allow outside forces to dictate our direction, we quietly hand over the reins of our own reality. What if instead you turned inward and realized your thoughts, your choices, your daily actions, they are the bricks with which you build your future? It's easy to fall into the trap of focusing on negativity or making other people's opinions the compass for your life. The result? A constant cycle of exhaustion and dissatisfaction. You see this everywhere. People who complain day after day, hoping that someone or something else will rescue them, but in the end, nothing changes because nothing inside them changes. But there is another path. Think of Michael Jordan. As a young boy, he was overlooked, doubted, and even cut from his high school basketball team. Most would have surrendered to bitterness, convinced themselves the world was unfair. But not him. He took ownership. He chose to channel the pain of rejection into relentless practice, each day making a silent promise to himself to be better. Over time, his commitment transformed not just his game, but his destiny. He became a legend not because luck chose him, but because he chose action over complaint, self-mastery over self-pity. The same choice is open to you. As the philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In this single sentence lies a truth that can change your entire life. The world will always be unpredictable. There will always be noise, disappointment, and misunderstanding. But your response, how you interpret and what you choose to do next, remains yours alone. When you internalize this, you move from being a passenger to being the driver of your own life. Instead of looking outward for validation or control, look within. Each thought you feed, each habit you nurture, each silence you keep in the face of chaos, these are the small acts of creation that shape your reality. When you learn to master yourself, you master your world. Thank you for following me this far, for giving your time and presence to this journey. Your willingness to reflect, to question, to grow is already a testament to your inner strength. Stay with me as we continue. The final lessons will reveal not just how to survive the noise, but how to unlock the key to changing your life. 7. Your nervous system filters information according to your focus. Imagine you're standing at a crossroads in your life, uncertain about your next move. You want to change your job, but every time you consider it, a flood of worries takes over. What if you fail? What if you don't find anything better? What if the risk backfires? You spend hours searching for problems and predicting obstacles, and soon all you see is a landscape filled with closed doors and warning signs. But if you shift your focus, even slightly, something remarkable happens. Instead of obsessing over every potential failure, you start asking, what skills do I have? What can I improve? Who can I connect with? Gradually, possibilities that were once invisible begin to emerge, and new paths open up before you. This is not just wishful thinking, it is rooted in the very way our nervous system and mind operate. In 2005, Dr. Robert Sapolsky, a neurobiologist at Stanford University, conducted a groundbreaking study on selective attention and stress. His research showed that the human brain has a powerful filtering system. When we are under stress or fixated on threats, our nervous system selectively highlights information related to fear, scarcity, or risk. We literally tune out opportunities, solutions, and positive signals, often without even realizing it. The opposite is also true. When we deliberately choose to focus on growth, skill building, and meaningful connections, our nervous system shifts. The brain begins to notice chance encounters, resources, and possibilities that support our goals, bringing them into sharp focus while letting distractions fade away. This ability to filter reality is a double-edged sword. On one side, it can trap us in a cycle of negativity and inertia, where every setback feels permanent and every problem seems unsolvable. On the other hand, it can become our greatest ally if we choose to direct our attention with intention and clarity. This is especially vital in a world filled with endless information, where noise, drama, and comparison bombard us at every turn. Many people, especially those at a crossroads in midlife, feel overwhelmed, exhausted by demands at work and at home, and isolated by the constant pressure to keep up with others. It's easy to spiral into self-doubt and anxiety, feeling stuck in a loop of complaints and regrets. But the solution lies in the way you choose to focus. When you stop feeding your attention to distractions and fears, and instead place it on personal growth, learning, and meaningful action, your nervous system becomes an instrument of transformation. As Epictetus, the ancient philosopher, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." His wisdom reminds us that external events are never the true source of our limitations. The real difference is made by where we direct our inner gaze. When you learn to filter for possibility, every day brings new opportunities, and the world quietly rearranges itself to meet your efforts. In silence and focus, you reclaim the power to shape your reality, one thought, one action, one intention at a time. 8. Success is the result of small, consistent actions every day. So often, we are taught to believe that transformation happens in a flash, that our lives will change the moment we land the perfect job, meet the right person, or make a single grand decision. We imagine that success is tied to some dramatic event, some sudden breakthrough that will catapult us into the life we desire. But real life, with all its noise, distractions, and relentless pressures, rarely offers such miracles. The reality is much quieter, far more subtle, and in truth, far more reliable. Lasting change is never the result of one impulsive leap, but rather the slow accumulation of small, purposeful choices repeated day after day, often unseen by anyone but yourself. Every time you wake up a little earlier to read, every time you spend just 20 minutes learning a new language, every time you show up for yourself when no one else is watching, you are planting the seeds of your own future. This truth is especially relevant today. In a world where instant gratification reigns and where comparison to others is just a click away, it's easy to become discouraged. Many people, especially those who have spent years in the race working hard, supporting families and weathering disappointments, begin to lose faith in small steps. They are searching for peace, stability, and meaning in the middle of chaos. The temptation to seek shortcuts, to hope for that one big win, is strong. Yet what if the answer has always been within reach? What if true progress lies not in shouting your intentions to the world, but in quietly, consistently acting on them day after day, even when you feel invisible? Consider the simple example of learning a language. The difference between those who achieve fluency and those who give up is almost never a matter of raw intelligence or luck. It's about persistence. 20 minutes a day may seem trivial in the moment, but after a year, the results are unmistakable. In contrast, those who study only when inspired make little progress and soon wonder why success feels out of reach. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This insight reveals the core of consistent action. You may not control the pace of the world or the judgment of others, but you always control how you show up for yourself. Each small step, repeated in silence, is a quiet rebellion against chaos and an affirmation of self-mastery. So don't wait for a lightning strike to change your life. Show up every single day for yourself. Let your habits speak louder than your words. I want to hear from you. What is one small action you will commit to starting today? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story could be the spark for someone else's journey. 9. Discipline and patience are the deciding factors. Imagine planting a seed in the quiet of your own garden. You water it, shelter it from the storm, and wait. Days pass, sometimes weeks, before you see even the slightest sign of green pushing through the soil. The impatient might abandon the garden, doubting their effort. But those who persist in watering, tending, and waiting are rewarded, not just with a single sprout, but with a tree that one day stands tall, offering shade, fruit, and beauty. In life, much like that seed, our ambitions rarely bloom overnight. We live in a world that tempts us with instant rewards. A click, a like, a fleeting compliment. Yet behind every story of lasting growth is a chapter few see, one written with discipline and patience. When the excitement fades and motivation runs dry, what is left to carry us forward? Only discipline, the unglamorous daily act of showing up even when no one notices. Only patience, the quiet trust that small steps repeated over time will add up to something extraordinary. This isn't just philosophy, it's the reality for anyone who's ever tried to change themselves or create something lasting. Think of the entrepreneurs who start with nothing but an idea and relentless effort. In the beginning, the world ignores them. There is no recognition, no applause. Their progress is invisible, sometimes even to themselves. Many give up when results don't arrive fast enough. But those who hold on, who keep refining their craft and learning from setbacks, slowly build something others cannot ignore. Years later, when success arrives, people marvel at how sudden it all seems. But in truth, the work was happening in silence all along. It is easy to get discouraged in the age of comparison. We see highlight reels and overnight sensations and wonder why our own journey feels so slow. Yet what we don't see is the discipline that lives behind the scenes, the early mornings, the late nights, the doubts faced alone. Patience is the antidote to frustration. It is the quiet promise you make to yourself that what you're doing matters, even when the world remains silent. So if you find yourself tempted to abandon your path because you haven't seen results, remember the seed beneath the soil. It is working, even when you cannot see it. Let your discipline be the daily water, your patience the sunlight that nourishes long-term growth. In the end, true success always belongs to those who persist. And if you've ever wondered whether it's possible to find fulfillment without applause, or if true confidence can exist in the absence of recognition, stay with me. In our next lesson, we'll uncover why seeking validation from outside yourself can hold you back from the deepest kind of achievement, and why letting go of that search is the key to quiet, lasting pride. 10. Don't seek external recognition. In a world flooded with opinions, likes, and instant validation, the desire for recognition from others can feel irresistible. It's easy to measure our worth by the applause we receive, the praise bestowed upon us, or the approval reflected in someone else's eyes. But the pursuit of external recognition is a slippery slope, one that leaves many feeling hollow, anxious, and forever dependent on the shifting standards of the crowd. This search for validation often starts subtly. It might begin as a simple wish to be seen or to feel that your efforts matter. Yet over time it grows into an endless loop. You share your progress, you wait for approval, you tailor your life to fit expectations, and you begin to lose touch with the very thing that set your soul on fire in the first place. The truth is, confidence, real, lasting confidence, cannot be gifted to you by others. It is built quietly, brick by brick, through effort, discipline, and the private victories no one else sees. External recognition is fickle. It may come and go, but self-respect, forged through perseverance, is unshakable. There is a kind of power that grows in silence, in the moments when you keep moving forward, not because the world is watching, but because you know the journey itself is worth it. When you stop chasing approval and focus instead on your own growth, your work takes on a new meaning. It's no longer about being liked. It's about being proud of what you're building simply because it is yours. Imagine the artist who paints every night, not for an audience, but for the sheer joy of creation. He doesn't broadcast his efforts on social media. He doesn't wait for the applause of the masses. Day after day, he refines his craft in silence. One day, his work catches the eye of someone who truly understands its value, not because it was loudly announced, but because its quiet excellence speaks for itself. This is the kind of recognition that matters. Not loud, but true. Not given freely, but earned with patience and devotion. The solution is simple but profound. Invest in yourself. Find pride in the effort, not in the echo of applause. Measure your progress not by who is watching, but by how much you've grown. When you build your confidence from within, you will discover a freedom that no amount of recognition can ever provide. In the end, the quiet satisfaction of a life well lived outshines the fleeting spotlight of external praise. You've just journeyed through the power of focusing on yourself, the strength of staying silent, and the freedom that comes from letting your actions speak louder than your words. We explored why chasing external validation only drains your energy, while true confidence is built in quiet moments through real effort and discipline. Remember, every step you take in silence brings you closer to the life you want. No audience required. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever felt trapped by the need for approval? How have you learned to trust your own path? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss an update. And keep watching for more powerful lessons. Just click on the next video displayed at the end. Your journey is just beginning.